Good day to everyone. I'm architect Ricardo H. Cisbreño, an OFW from Doha, Qatar, currently a senior architect with Dimensions Engineering Consultant. I have passion in architecture history and classical architecture.
Welcome to Historia de Arquitectura. Today we will be talking about our very own, the Art Deco style of the Manila Metropolitan Theater. The Manila Metropolitan Theater, or the Tanghalang Metropolitan, also known as the Metropolitan Theater, is a performing arts center, historic Philippine Art Deco building located in Plaza Lawton in Ermita, Manila. It is recognized as the forefront of the Art Deco architectural style in the Philippines. Most of the time it called as the Met, as short for Metropolitan. Filipino architect Juan Arellano was commissioned by the government to design the theater and was sent to the United States to study under Thomas W. Lamb, one of America's leading architects in theater design. At that point, Juan Arellano was already known for his other works of the old legislative building, the Manila Central Post Office building, the Jones Bridge, and the Metropolitan Theater, which was truly his masterpiece. In its heyday, it was the home of operas, the Manila Symphony, and a symbol of fine arts and high society of pre-war Manila. The Art Deco style by Arellano was enhanced by sculptures in the facade of the theater by Francesco Riccardo Monti, an Italian sculptor with a Filipino soul, who lived in Manila from 1930 until his death in 1958. Highly stylized relief carving of Philippine plants executed by the artist Isabelo Tampinco decorated the lobby walls and interior surfaces of the building. Its history is quite interesting and unique. There used to be an old theater during the Spanish colonial period, Teatro del Príncipe Alfonso XII, which was built near the present-day Metropolitan Theater. The old theater was the main focal building within the large and sprawling Plaza Arrocheros in 1862. Unfortunately, the Teatro del Príncipe Alfonso burned down in 1876. In 1924, during the American colonial period, the Philippine legislature approved the project proposal of Senator Juan B. Alegre to build a people's theater in the Mayhan Garden. There was little, however, that came of it until 1928 when Manila Mayor Thomas Earnshaw spearheaded a project to build a theater. The cornerstone was laid in February 1928 with construction by Pedro A. Siochi and Company as the contractors. The Metropolitan Theater was inaugurated on December 10, 1931. In attendance were Mayor Earnshaw, Senate President Manuel L. Quezon, Interim American Governor George C. Butte, Speaker of the House Sergio Osmeña, and other prominent government leaders, businessmen, and society figures. During the following pre-war decade, the Metropolitan Theater hosted international artists including Ted Shawn, Jascha Heifetz, Amelita Galicurci, and Fritz Kreisler. The theater also hosted the local dance productions of Lubov Adamait, Leonor Orosa Gukinko, Paul Szilard, and Trudel Dubsky. Other significant events at the theater include the premiere of production studio LVN Pictures' inaugural film Gilivko in 1939. The venue played host to vaudevilles, zarzuelas, performances by world-renowned artists like the maestro Jascha Heifetz and Dr. Herbert Zipper, who conducted the Manila Symphony Orchestra. Then came the Japanese occupation during the World War II. During the course of the war, the Metropolitan Theater have stayed active and operational. It has become the home of the New Philippines Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Francisco Santiago, father of Kundiman, which held its inaugural concert in July 1942. Alongside concerts and film screenings, the Metropolitan Theater was the stage for the performances of the Dramatic Philippines Theater Group, founded by Francisco Soc Rodrigo and Narciso Pimentel Jr. from 1943 to 1944. They performed Rodrigo's translations and adaptations of Western plays. The Japanese authorities utilized the Metropolitan Theater for various cultural and political activities during their occupation. On October 17th and 20th, 1943, two independent symphony concerts were held at the Met to celebrate Japan's declaration of the Philippines as an independent republic under President Jose P. Laurel. The Kalibapi political party also used the building as a meeting center. In 1945, during the Battle of Manila, the building was badly damaged since the Japanese gave a strong resistance against the American soldiers and Filipino guerrillas by making the whole city of Manila into a one-strong fortification. In the subsequent post-war years, the shell of the Met was misused for a variety of commercial establishments and was vandalized and turned into home of informal settlers. During the Marcos administration, First Lady Imelda Marcos initiated the public restoration of the Metropolitan Theater, along with other historical buildings. In 1978, 30 million pesos was allocated for the restoration through a loan from the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS. The restoration was done under the supervision of the architect Otilio Arellano, nephew of the Met's original architect Juan M. Arellano. The Metropolitan Theater reopened in December 1978 after just 4 months of work, making the pre-Christmas opening deadline desired by Imelda Marcos. It has been said that the Metropolitan Theater would emerge as the shining monument to the cultural enlightenment of the new Filipino. The Met reopened with a production of Rosauro de la Cruz's Isang Munting Alamat, produced by the Kabataang Barangay. From 1979 to 1986, the Metropolitan Theater staged 5 to 6 shows yearly. Due to the lack of sponsorships, Executive Director Conchita Sunico rented out the space to GMA Radio Television Arts for Vilma Santos's variety show and leased out office space in the building, allowing it to survive despite financial difficulties. The Met closed its doors again in 1996 following conflicts of ownership between the Manila City Government and the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS. In 2010, President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo and Manila Mayor Alfredo Lim attempted to revive the Metropolitan Theater to no avail. That same year, the Met was recognized as a national cultural treasure under the National Cultural Heritage Act. In May 2015, the Department of Budget and Management released 270 million pesos from the National Endowment Fund for Culture and the Arts to fund the purchase of the Metropolitan Theater from its owner, the Government Service Insurance System, GSIS. DBM released the funds to the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, NCCA, which, according to the National Cultural Heritage Act, held the right of first refusal on the sale of national cultural treasures. On June 30th, 2015, the GSIS turned over ownership of the Met to the NCCA. Soon after, in December 2015, the NCCA launched the Metamorphosis Project, through which students interacted with the theater through bi-weekly cleanup drives. It also included music programs and tours of the theater grounds. The project ran until April 2016, paving the way for the eventual restoration of the building. The initial restoration construction work began in February 2017 but was suspended when discovering of original features led the NCCA to revise the designs. with work resuming in 2019. The goal of the NCCA-led restoration was to preserve the building and restore it to its pre-war state, as designed by Juan Arellano. Thus, additional structures such as those added during the 1978 restoration were removed. The first phase of the restoration focused on the main theater and was completed by March 2020. The second phase focused on the exteriors, while the third and final phase focused on fixing the office spaces and the grand ballroom. On December 10, 2021, the Metropolitan Theater celebrated its 90th anniversary with its formal reopening. Architecture, the Metropolitan Theater was designed by Filipino architect Juan Arellano in the Art Deco style. Arellano was inspired by the phrase "on wings of song" for the structural configuration of the building. A rectangular-shaped auditorium flanked by pavilions on either side. Throughout the design, Arellano weaved Filipino decorative elements into the Art Deco style. Exterior, the tiara domed with stylized minarets, sensuous female figures in exotic drapes, an exterior with whimsical rope designs, friezes, and curly cues, the clashing ethnic like chimeras and asparagus turrets. The total effect of the architecture is totally different from the other colonial buildings. The building is of an Art Deco style, presenting a symmetry of structure and geometry, full of basic shapes like arcs, squares, triangles, rectangles, and straight lines. The facade's focal point is its proscenium-like central window of stained glass that corresponds with the shape and scale of the main theater inside. The stained glass marquee was executed by the Kraut Art Glass Company with the Metropolitan label backlit and surrounded by Filipino floral motifs. The stained glass marquee is highlighted on both sides by curving walls of colorful decorated tiles resembling batik patterns of Southeast Asia. There are also moldings of zigzag and wavy lines that go with the sponged and painted multicolored walls. The wall that frames the stained glass is a segmented arch with rows of small finials on the upper edge. Accenting the ground level are capiz lamps and banana leaf-formed pillars which go alternately with the theater's entrances. Interior. The main theater is accessed through a foyer with a two-story ceiling and stairways on either side leading to the balcony. By the stairways are the Adam and Eve bronze sculptures done by Italian artist Francesco Monti. Displayed on opposite sides of the foyer are two mural paintings by national artist Fernando Amorsolo titled The Dance and the History of Music. Since the 1996 foreclosure, the original murals are in the GSIS Museum, and so reproductions were made for the NCCA-led restoration. The foyer's grillwork features a drooping floral balustrade in a geometric Art Deco style, originally crafted by Juan Arellano, the brother and collaborator of the Met's architect Juan Arellano. Main Theater. In 2020, during its renovation, the capacity of the main theater was reduced from 1,600 to 990, and the floor's elevation was adjusted to comply with safety regulations. The ceiling is decorated with Art Deco mangoes, bananas, and tropical leaves bas-reliefs designed by Isabelo Tampinco. Above the proscenium arch are 8 bas-relief figures by Francesco Monti. Originally intending to reproduce the figures from historical photographs in 2017, the NCCA were surprised to discover the original Monti figures intact after dismantling the anomalous additions from the 1978 restoration. In 1976, the Metropolitan Theater was declared a National Historical Landmark by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines, NHCP. In 2010, the National Museum recognized the Manila Metropolitan Theater as a national cultural treasure, At the marker installed by the National Historical Institute in 1988, inscription in Manila Metropolitan Theater in Tagalog, it says, "Nagsimula bilang isang pambansang tanghalan ayon sa disenyo ni Arkitekto Juan Arellano. Pinasinayaan noong 1931. Naging tanghalan ng mga artistang Pilipino at Banyaga. Nagpalabas ng mga opera, pageant, at dulang Kastila at Ingles na isinalin sa Tagalog para sa mga Filipino noong ikalawang digmaang pandaigdig. Nasira ng bahagya noong 1945. Ang gumuho ng gusali ay naging tirahan ng mga squatter at pinangalanang Besa Boxing Arena. Ibinalik sa dating maringal na anyo noong 1978 at 78 ng Komisyon ng Kalakang Maynila. In English it says, it began as a national theater based on the design of architect Juan Arellano. It was inaugurated in 1931. It became a venue for Filipino and foreign artists. It presented operas, pageants, and Spanish and English plays translated into Tagalog for Filipinos. During the Second World War, it was partially destroyed in 1945. The ruined building became a home for squatters and was renamed Besa Boxing Arena. It was restored to its former majestic form in 1978 by the Metro Manila Commission. This building has refused to be forgotten no matter the odds and has continued to shine its glory. So this is the Manila Metropolitan Theater, a testament in showcasing the Filipino culture, heritage, and identity. Mabuhay ang kultura ng mga mamamayang Pilipino, mabuhay ang mga arkitektong Pilipino.